Very good morning to you children. Here is your social studies teacher, Mrs. Sumati, with the continuation topic that is Industrial Revolution, chapter 8. In that part 2, already in the part 1, previously we studied that putting out system, manufactories, proto-industrialization, that when the Industrial Revolution started, invention of the James Watt, steam engine, spinning jenny, whatever at the factory system, this all we studied, and the experience of the child also. Now I'm going to continue the topic that is inside early factories. What are the problems or what are the conditions of the workers of the particular industry? Okay, inside the early factories. Actually, inside the factory, what is going on? When the new machinery has come, totally we can find the major changes. Total change we got it in the industries because improvement is there. Machines came now, improvement is there. Where? In the production. Machines could be worked by even unskilled persons. Till the time, what happened? Each house has a handicraft or cottage industry. They are used to prepare it at their home only. In their home, they used to prepare. So, those are all skilled persons who produced the products. But when the machines has come, machine is doing the work. So, automatically what happened? For the industrialists, no need of skilled persons. Here, the machine is working, anybody they can appoint. So, they appointed the unskilled persons. So, what happened? The skilled artisans totally lost their work. Because unskilled persons got the work, these skilled persons have to lose the work. If suppose they appoint the skilled person, they have to pay higher amount of the wage. So, because of that reason, they appointed unskilled persons, paid less salaries. So, in their place, actually, in the place of skilled artisans, they appointed unskilled persons. No, those unskilled persons are large number of women and children, and these were employed and made to work for maigre wages, means less wages, because they are not skilled, and women and children. If skilled means they can demand, but unskilled, no, they have paid the less wage. Machines cost a lot of money. At that time, the machinery to purchase, it's more cost. But an ordinary artisan cannot purchase. Means those who are skilled persons, those are unable to purchase the machine because it's cost more. Who can purchase? Only the wealthy merchants. That means only the rich person or the rich industrialist only can purchase the machine, and he could set up the mechanized factories. Of course, those who are poor, they cannot purchase that much of cost machinery. No, it's happened only the wealthy person can purchase. This is what the workers had to say about their plight. Actually, at that time, what are their conditions in their where the factories they are working? Just they have said that it is a experience. Their experience they have expressed. Every day we come for work at 6 a.m. Morning 6 a.m. they used to come and work till 8:30 p.m. You see that morning 6 o'clock to night 8:30 they used to work in the factories. Actually, we are working lot of now 8 hours or like that. The timings are made, it changes. Last were enforced, but here the timings are 6 a.m. to 8:30. That means approximately 15 hours. But there is a lunch break of only 1 hour. Only 1 hour lunch break is given. By the end of the day, we are so tired. approximately 15 hours a day to work, totally they became tired. Then the factory owners used to whips to goad us to keep working. Even they are tired, if the work is there, the factory owner used to say them to continue the work. So these days new machines are being introduced constantly. Another problem is there, when the machines introduced, inventions took place, new machinery is also introduced. Continuation. Actually constantly there was improvement is there in the machines. These machines can do the work of several workers at the same time. So such a machines, one machine can replace many workers. Suppose 10 to 15 members work, only one machine can do. So what happened? Therefore fewer workers are required. For the factory owner, few members are required. So whenever they are getting the new machine, then what they have done? They used to send those members how many they are not required for them to do the work in their factory. So those they lost their work. You see, the condition of the industry where they are working, here the child is bringing something, whatever it is fell down, and even horrible timings, they are worried about that. Most of these workers had no other option. Here, when they are retrenching, that means removing from the job, they can't do anything. Even they tell them to do that more hours time, they cannot do, because at that time the condition or the demand is like that. So most of these workers had no other option as they had been expelled from their lands. Actually at that time, what happened, many of the rich persons, those who are the landlords also, occupied some small cultivators who have that 2 or 3 acres of land, their land also they occupied, and they expelled those persons, means they sent those owners of those 3-2 acres. They are unable to raise their voice. So what they have done? They came to do the work in the factories. And if they were small craftsmen, their shops are closed down. When the industry started, small craftsmen who are there, those who are depending on their handmade own preparation or production, they lost their shops, their work, and even they closed their shops also, because sales is not there, because machine made goods are cheaper and smooth also, of course, to say that. But here craftsmen's items are costly. So gradually workers of factories and mines formed their own organizations. When the timings were increased and total their conditions were became worst, at that time the workers of the factories or the mines, they started formed the organizations, that is unions, actually trade unions and those, to fight against the conditions of the work. Actually beginning what they have done, they demanded that 8 to 10 hours of working day, means per day 8 hours or between the 8 to 10 hours of the time, because before they used to work approximately 15 hours, that to reduce they asked. Another one, to increase the salary, higher wages. And another important point is that disallowing children under 14 years of age, means the children who are working mostly 4 years, 5 years also they are working, children were appointed as worker. So they demanded that please not to allow the children in the factories or the mines, those who are under 14 years of child. So these are the beginning, the 3 demands: 8 to 10 hours, more wages, not to allow under 14 years of age children. Okay. Child labor laws, that means the working conditions of the children and the age limit of the children, the laws were introduced only for the child labor. Okay, so improvement was brought. Even in India also we have those laws for the child labor. Of course, those who didn't complete below 14 years children, anybody can appoint as a worker, they will be arrested. Over time, their struggles were successful and conditions of workers improved. Here, after long run, what happened? They struggled a lot, but even they got success of that conditions of the factory. Of course, their working conditions and even timings also improvement they got it. And the factories too have changed by now. Nowadays, the factories also changed. Almost all the work has become automated with the machines directed by computers. Nowadays, the computers only giving the direction, the machines are working. Means here human power also became less. They require very few people because all those missions also working under missions. So with the signals of or the commanding of the computers, they are working. As per that, here they need very less people or little manual work to run the industries. Sources of energy and industrial development. Energy is needed to run missions in a factory. Of course, to run the mission, we need the energy. So that energy, previously we need that coal. Actually, by burning the coal, we produce steam power, it's run. So that we need that coal, actually petroleum, so other things. Initially, industries depend upon energy from coal and steam, but subsequently several other sources of energy like thermal, thermal means by burning the coal only, and hydroelectricity means running water, petroleum, petrol, diesel and this all comes under petroleum, natural gas we are using for the cooking, nuclear energy we know already, and solar energy, that means from the sun whatever the energy we are getting. These are all at present we are using other sources of energy. Transport revolution. The invention of steam engine. Who invented? James Watt. Boosted the shipping industry. Even when the James Watt invented the steam engine, it's improved the shipping industry. And it also reduced the cost of the transportation. When through waterways the transportation is there, it's reduced the cost. That is how much? By 1/3 of the cost of road transport. Through road transport, whatever they are transporting, when it's introduced that water transport, it's reduced 1/3 of the cost. At the people looked for better ways of transportation, even though the people were waiting till it's maybe better ways of transportation is there to transport the goods. So the next big thing in the context of transport was adaptation of steam engine to locomotives. Means that steam engine only, but first they used it in the ships. Now they have used it for the railway engines. Locomotives means train engine. So George Stephenson's locomotive pulled heavy loads along a 64-kilometer track. First the George Stephenson's he made it that locomotive. That locomotive pulled the more load. 64 kilometers track he made it. That is from Liverpool to Manchester. That is at 46 kilometer speed per hour. That locomotive ran as the 46 kilometer speed per hour. That means 64 now. Approximately 1.5 hour it can reach from Liverpool to Manchester with heavy load. This is a great change. See, this is the small locomotive starting, means this is how fast it is moving. It is shown with the hours, the difference. In 1840s, John Leyden McAdam, he's the person, John Leyden McAdam, devised a method of laying road using broken stones. By using small stones, he used the laying the road. This created a hard surface which was an important advancement in the road construction. It's made that improvement of the road construction because it became strength when he used the broken stones. Within another decade means 10 years, within the another 10 years, bitumen based binding Bitumen means tar, we will say, no? That bitumen based binding which we see in our areas as tar, mac roads were built. By using tar, they used that. So that road was named actually macadamized road. Okay, because of that his name it is called macadamized road. So when it is the tar road was found, started to laying, this was further followed by the use of motor cars also. Automatically motor cars and other vehicles also started to run. In the early part of the 20th century, aircrafts were developed by Wright brothers. You know now? Who was the first inventors of the aircraft? You know, Wright brothers. And today air transport is a major method of transport. It's a totally improved. So many airways are there. Many of them they are transporting, of course, human beings or maybe the goods, whatever it is, we are using aeroplanes. See, this is first using pebbles. Actually, this is the Kacha road. Afterwards, by using the tar, they have utilized the Pakka road. So, this is a macadamized road by using the stones. This is the Wright brothers invention, aircraft. Trade in industrial products. Industrial production increased so much that it was not possible to sell all the products in their own countries. Actually, when the industries were established, the missions were using more and more. So the production also increased. When the production was increased, where the production is there, most probably first in the England, afterwards other European countries. It's increased more, but it's become impossible to sell all the products in their own countries. So what happened? The factory owners began to sell them in the other countries. In their own country, the sales was not there. So for them, market is there in other countries. Where they sold it, they sold those where they have colonized. Machine-made goods were cheap and durable. Durable means long-lasting, cheaper. Hence, the demand for them increased all over the world. Machine-made goods demand was there. So this gave a boost to the industries in England and other countries. So here in England also, in other countries also, there was an improvement in the industries to improve because demand was there for those machine-made goods. However, what is interesting is that these countries did not have the raw materials required for production of these goods. Actually, for example, you take England. England don't have the raw material. It is not producing the cotton. It is getting the cotton from, for example, our India and America. The cotton is needed for producing cloth which was grown in India and America. So the English traders, means English business people, who purchased the raw material from India and America or the other countries, and that they sold to the factory owners of England. Subsequently, the traders purchased the finished products. The factory owners sold those finished products also to these traders only. Means these traders purchased the finished products from those factory owners, and those were sold in their other countries from where they purchased the raw material, that is India and America or other countries. Means they purchased the raw material from our countries cheaper cost, cheap, and even though they sold the finished product again to our country only, and those they made it somewhat more cost. Of course, it is not given in this book, but that is the true. In order to serve the interests of their trade and industry, the Europeans sought to subjugate these countries. So to improve their trade and business, what they have done? Their industries also should develop. So what they have done? The Europeans continued to, of course, totally they control these colonized countries. Means other countries where they have went and settled. The other countries like France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Holland, along with the England, these all other countries of the Europe, they conquered the colonies for themselves in Asia, Africa, Australia, America. Means they didn't leave any continent. All the continents they have colonized. What is colony? Colonies are those countries whose resources are used for the benefit of the another country. For example, we are the colony of the Britishers. Ours is a colonized country of the British. So here what happened? Our country is providing for the benefit of another country, whatever the resources we have. That is called colonies. These European countries exploited the colonies in other continents and grew wealthy in the process. These Europeans were colonized all the countries and they exploited totally, means they took away all the resources of all those continents and they improved themselves. That means they became wealthy. Urbanization in slums. Industrial revolution led to gradual shift of people from villages to the town. That means when the industrial revolution took place, the mostly migration was started from villages to the towns or cities where the industries were there. Industries and other urban activities gave up people the necessary livelihood. Wherever the industries were improved, there mostly the urban activities, whatever it is there, those were given somewhat livelihood to the people, means living facility they got it. Those who migrated from villages to the towns. As people moved to the towns, which were newly emerging, they settled down in a makeshift houses and shelters which were cramped and had little sanitation or other facilities. Actually, when the people moved to the towns, there actually newly they are settling now. When they are settling there, mostly the conditions were totally not at all good. When they went, they used the shelters. Those shelters, which type of shelters? Those are not at all, area is not at all neat and clean, and even wherever, means they want to live in such a conditions, all those problematic only, cramped and had a little sanitation. Even they used to get the diseases. Even other facilities also they don't have, that is drinking water or proper sanitation was not there. Near the drainage system only they used to stay, and proper houses were not there, just simply shelters were there, that is like tents or something. So total conditions were worst. Accidents, diseases, epidemics are also became common to the people, those who migrated from rural to urban. Most workers residential areas lack a proper ventilation, even they don't have ventilation also. Health conditions were not good and sanitation facilities also not there. Slums became common. Actually, slum areas became common scenario in towns and cities, especially near the factories and the mines. Wherever the mines and factories are there, the pollution also there. Nearby those areas only people used to live. That means workers. At the same time, distinct quarters came up for the rich. The rich people are the owners of the industries. They have quarters. So those are nice houses, big houses, because those are powerful and rich, which were well provided in terms of open space, fresh air, proper sanitation, proper water supply, roads and other facilities they have. Slowly people fought for the civic rights. Actually, here mostly the people started to fight for their rights, and the conditions of the workers quarters also improved. When they fought for those rights, they got the improvement in their houses or even pure drinking water or sanitation, whatever it is, improvement was there in their living conditions. See, this is a biggest slum area in one of the slum area in the world. It is there in Mumbai. It is called Dharavi. It is a slum area. Even we have in Visakhapatnam also, in the New Colony area, some other areas we can see that slum areas. But this is one of the world's, of course, important slum area. Okay. Now, this is the time to do the assignment. Children, If you listen the video, you can do the assignment. Listen it carefully and can do that. All the best, and we will meet in the next class. Bye bye.